I still remember the day I stood at the airport, my suitcase in hand, staring at the departure gate. My heart was pounding, and the air around me felt thick with uncertainty. I was about to board a plane and move to a city I had never been to, leaving behind everything I knew. My family, my friends, my routines, all of it was being left behind as I stepped into the unknown. It was the biggest change I had faced in my life, and I was terrified. Every part of me wanted to turn around and run back to the safety of the life I had built. Yet deep down, I knew I had to go. Change was inevitable, and despite the fear I felt, I knew I had to embrace it. Change has always had a way of sneaking up on us when we least expect it, unsettling the stability we've created. We find comfort in our routines, in the familiar, and in the things we've grown to understand. It's only natural to fear the uncertainty that change brings. After all, it forces us to step out of our comfort zone, to face the unknown with no guarantees. But even though we fear it, change is something we cannot avoid. No matter how much we resist, it is constant. The key is learning to embrace it, even when fear looms large in the background. That day at the airport marked the beginning of one of the most challenging and rewarding chapters of my life. The decision to move to a new city was not easy. Like many of us, I had built a life I was comfortable with. I knew where everything was in my hometown. I had my favorite spots, my close-knit group of friends, and a job I enjoyed. Moving meant leaving all of that behind for a place where I knew no one. The fear of starting over was almost paralyzing, and there were moments when I seriously considered backing out. But as I stood there, staring at the gate, I realized something important. My fear wasn't going to stop the change from happening. Change was already in motion, and I had to choose whether to run from it or embrace it. I boarded that plane, terrified of what lay ahead, but determined to see it through. The first few weeks in the new city were tough. I was homesick, lonely, and questioning my decision every day. The fear I had felt at the airport had followed me, and it often felt like an unwelcome companion as I navigated the unfamiliar streets of my new home. But slowly, things began to shift. I started making new friends, discovering new places, and settling into a new routine. What I had feared the most, being out of my comfort zone, became the catalyst for my growth. I began to see the move not as something to fear, but as an opportunity to expand my life in ways I hadn't thought possible. This experience taught me that while fear is a natural response to change, it should never be the reason we hold back. The fear of the unknown can make us cling to what is familiar, but growth doesn't happen in the comfort zone. Growth happens when we step into the unfamiliar, when we face change head-on, even when we are scared. Embracing change doesn't mean we won't feel fear. It means we choose to move forward despite it. The truth is, change is inevitable. We cannot avoid it, no matter how hard we try. Life is constantly shifting, evolving, and moving forward. Relationships change, careers change, we change. And with each new phase, there are unknowns that will make us hesitate. But resisting change only delays the process and amplifies the discomfort. By embracing it, we open ourselves to the possibility of something greater on the other side. Looking back, my fear of moving wasn't about the city itself. It was about leaving behind what I knew, what was familiar and safe. But once I embraced the change, I realized that I wasn't losing anything. Instead, I was gaining a new perspective, new experiences, and a new chapter of my life that I never would have had if I had stayed in the same place. There will always be moments in life where we are faced with changes that shake us. It could be a new job, a relationship ending, or an unexpected life event. Whatever the case, we will feel that familiar tug of fear, the one that makes us want to stay where we are. But the more we resist, the harder it becomes. When we open ourselves up to change and accept that it is part of life's journey, we give ourselves the chance to grow. That move to a new city was just one of many changes I faced in life, and it certainly won't be the last. But with each change, I've learned something valuable. Fear doesn't disappear, but it no longer holds me back. I've learned to embrace change as a constant companion on this journey, knowing that every shift, every turn brings with it new opportunities and new experiences. Life is meant to be lived fully, not cautiously. The more we allow ourselves to embrace change, the richer our lives become. We should fear change because it challenges us, but we must also embrace it. because it leads us to where we're meant to be.